Thank you for watching News Echoes. I'm so glad you're watching this morning. There are so many things to be discussed. My name is Shegun Johnson, and we have many in the studio who will be discussing the current issues. How about what is going on in Ukraine, the useless war of Ukraine? Then we go from there to the God's own country, Nigeria. We want to look at the role of the women in the Nigerian politics and the constitution alteration going on there right now. It's my pleasure to uh, welcome our in-house researcher, Ambassador Nat Yako. Ambassador Nat, you're welcome. I'm sure Ambassador Nat is in the program and is in the studio. We want to get him all the way from his location in the city of London. In Milan, we have our own man, Mark Godwin. Mark in Milan, you are still there with us in the studio. It appears we are having some talkings from the technical views, from the technical department. I'm sure they will fix that as soon as possible. We'll be looking at Ukraine this morning. We want to see how useless this war has been. Who is going to win? Who is going to lose? In my own opinion, there will be no winners, no losers. The Russian bombardment will have destroyed too much of Ukraine that it will be useless for anybody to use. And at the end of the day, regime change that the Russian government is looking for may not easily come. If it's going to come, a puppet will be physically put in the government house. In the meantime, people are suffering unexpected murders of both Russian young men and Ukrainian young men and women. And so sad to say that children are the ones involved here. The families are destroyed, lives are changed, businesses destroyed forever. And many people have been separated. There are cases of young people crying, saying they left their parents back in Ukraine while they have made it to Poland. In the meantime, Poland is having problems getting the American aeroplanes to be flown by Ukrainian pilots. Because of the implication, it would drag in the United States of America into the imbroglio, and that will mean the beginning of the Third World War, which may end up being nuclear. But at least Poland is not going to find it funny because it's a border country. And so that discussion is going on. The economy of Russia is being bombarded left, right, and center. Shell being the latest that has withdrawn from his production and selling. And so Shell has pulled out of Russia, and many other business organizations are pulling out of Russia, making life difficult in Russia. The people are protesting in Russia, but it appears that Putin still got some support because they believe, some his supporters believe that it's a just war. Well, we are yet to see whether this is a just war. I'm sure that my colleagues will come in very soon, and we may continue to understand from their own viewpoint. Um, the support of people have been coming all over the world for the Ukrainian government, and in Africa, many of them have voted, especially in the United Nations, against Russia, that Russia has no business in Ukraine bombarding and killing people. But others have been putting caution, saying that it's not right for us to just condemn Russia. What has led to it? Well, that will depend on individual presidents and nations as we have been looking at it. So we just keep on watching. The world is just watching as people are unnecessarily dying. They're being murdered. Russia is using it as an occasion to bring out all its old weapons it has never used, detonating them on Ukraine so that the new ones could be piled. America is also bringing out its old ones, giving it to. Ambassador Nat, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I was welcoming you to the program.
I was responding. I think the technical problem maybe with the studio.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it possible we have Mark on the screen as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Good
Mark,
morning,
you are
Dr.
welcome
Shred.
to the program.
Good
Yes, good
morning, Dr.
morning, everybody.
Yes, sorry
Yeah, I've been
for.
trying to. It's okay. I've been trying to make
Yes,
sense with
Books
what is.
Books is with us. Books is with us too.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's welcome the lady of the moment.
Yes.
Diva Obooks Ibru, you are welcome to the program.
Yeah.
The viewers have missed you.
I can't hear you.
Studio, she can't
But
hear
we can
you.
hear you.
We can hear
I
you.
can't hear you.
Oh,
Oh
we
We are
my
can hear
seeing
God.
you.
you and we are hearing
I
you.
can see you, but I can't hear you.
Okay,
Oh,
okay. If you can hear
okay,
me,
maybe
anytime
it's
you
your
can hear
network.
me, just
I think it's
just
your
wave
network.
your hand.
I can't hear you, but I can see you.
How do we connect now? Studio is what can you do?
No, I think it's from her end. It's
Okay,
from
can
her
you
end.
unmute yourself? Is it
Yes.
you can
Unmute.
can you
Unmute.
unmute yourself? Oh, she can't even hear us. Unmute yourself.
Yes, your phone.
Unmute yourself.
Okay.
Unmute yourself.
I think we lost her.
Okay, maybe she should reset, come in afresh.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
Ambassador Nat, please
Yeah.
quickly, what's your assessment of this war in Ukraine? I was just telling our viewers that looks like a senseless one, but who am I to give any opinion? Please, what do you think?
I think with some level of objectivity, uh, really this war should have not even started at all. Uh,
Mm,
Putin has, apart from NATO being at his backyard and the EU trying to make Russia insecure, but Russia has always been where they are. Ukraine has always, well, after the balkanization of the Soviet Union, Ukraine has been where it had. The geographical boundaries have not changed apart from the annexation of Crimea and so, it's the same geopolitical locations. But Putin is now saying he's feeling more of the heat. His country is being threatened. The NATO and EU are coming too close to him, and so he's not feeling safe. And the best thing to do is to encircle Ukraine with their arms and ammunition and men before attacking Ukraine 12 or 13 days ago. And so
mm,
that, to use those reasons to start killing innocent children, especially, and women, dislocating more than 2 million people forced out of their country, and then the other people who are in that country, like African students who are studying, a few of them who are working, Pastor Adelaja and his congregation and other people. So it creates a worldwide ripple effect, and everybody is feeling the pinch now, one way or the other, because of the ego of one man. Because one man has territorial ambition, he wants to bring back the former Soviet Union. So these are really the challenges the whole world is facing now, especially the economy. The economy is being threatened. Not
mm.
only the economies in Europe, but the whole world, because it's a global village. Everybody is doing business with the other person, and so
1 liter of petrol right now is £1.70 in London.
£1.70.
Yeah, and it could go higher than
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So this is the dilemma we're facing.
Let, let me ask Mark in Milan, is it true that these superpowers of Russia and United States, they like bringing out the old ammunition so that they can stock in a new one. I mean, the ammunitions, firepower they have put there in the last 15 years, they've not used them. So a place like Russia wants to use the old one, bring in it, just like you work in Tesco stores, a supermarket. You want to bring the old food before they expire so that they can buy it, and then you prepare a new one. Is that what is happening?
Well, to be honest with you, thank you very much, Ambassador Nat. Thank you very much, Dr. Shagun. To be honest with you, the war, the ideology of war is becoming obsolete. It's being played out. It's sad that this is happening because one man is now plunging the whole world, indirectly and directly. Even the countries supporting him will eventually be affected because we are interwoven, we are interconnected. For the ammunition thing, yes, a new product is how they do it, but why are we talking of ammunitions to kill people? Is to kill. Yes, in the last few years, new kinds of missiles, PNG, rocket propelled grenade, and new kinds of bombs have been made out. You know, there are new types. There's this new one called Javelin. Javelin is, yes, supersonic. There's also new kinds of aircraft too. So they will want to stock up the new stock, but war is played out. It's more of an ideology dominance now. Use ideology to dominate people and not come to kill them to take their land. You know, like China is using ideology to dominate. And that's very good. They are not bringing gun on anybody's head, but they are taking territories somehow. You know,
You see, the cultural imperialism is greater than any other form of imperialism. For instance, we have economic
cultural
imperialism, we have military imperialism, but the cultural imperialism is the greatest, and that is the strategy that China is using. It's combining.
And it's working well.
It's combining economic imperialism by loaning African states money that they could not repay, especially because of their fraudulent leaders, and then making many Chinese study the language of the land, getting them involved in all the activities of the land, even putting them into the military and the police in some Southern African states. So you are right. Cultural imperialism is the way they want to get it, and it's by far greater than military imperialism.
Yes, very correct, Dr. Shagun. That's a good
one.
Yes,
I study a bit of these imperialistic issues. Yes, at the doctoral level.
They are not only going to Africa; they are also going to South America. Do you know China has dominated Trinidad and Tobago? China
Venezuela.
Yes, Guyana.
And, Jamaica.
Jamaica, yes. And it's just this cultural imperialism. Imagine taking boundaries, holding people without putting guns on their head. So
there are many Chinese who could speak Nigerian languages more than the different tribal groups in Nigeria.
As we're talking now, a caregiver, the caregiver for my dad is a Chinese. It's a Chinese lady.
Wow. You see, and there are schools where they teach them Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. Different Chinese children in different parts of Nigerian location speaking either Igbo, Yoruba, or Hausa, being taught, and fluently for that matter.
So, okay, in this aspect, we're talking of the cultural imperialism. We're talking of the dominating with ideology, you know, not because it's in essence what Putin is trying to do. He wants to take the land. He wants to dominate that part of the world. But he's going about it in a very brutal, primitive, ancient way.
Very primitive and brutal way. I mean, one is not taking sides. I'm not interested in taking sides between the East and the West. It's just that it appears the whole thing is senseless.
It's
Uh,
senseless.
to him, it is sensible because NATO may come and finish him one day. To the rest of the world, it is senseless because there are other ways of stopping NATO from occupying Ukraine. I mean, you've taken over Crimea, you've taken over Donetsk. I don't know, Ambassador Nat, or do you see it from another angle?
No, I'm absolutely with you, but my only concern here is that the way Putin has demonstrated and the strategy he's trying to use, it seems he does not even know exactly what he wants. Yeah, because at the end of the day, Ukraine is almost half empty now. The people have left. Do
Yeah.
I understand are they up to 40 million people?
Yes, 37 million.
Okay. So the strategy is using fine, but what is his end game? What is motivating him? What are the objectives?
Expansionist policy. We want to expand to Crimea, we want to expand to Donetsk, we want to expand to Ukraine, and of course we're in Belarusia. So that's what he's doing.
But
And the Belarusian prime minister seems to be with
in his
him.
pocket.
Yeah, that one is a puppet. That one is
all right. But before we leave this matter, what is the suffering for the rest of us? All of us are suffering. We are all involved in this war. We may
yes,
not
sir.
be hearing the aeroplane bombing us or the fireworks. Ambassador Nance, how far is the whole world involved in it now?
First and foremost, the economy. The economy has been turned upside down now.
Correct.
The prices of basic things like bread is not going to be affordable to especially in Africa. People who are used to eating bread every day.
Mm.
And this issue of oil and gas, anything to do with oil and gas, the banking
It appears that
industry.
Europe want to stop the 40% importation of oil and gas from Russia. Will that be possible? 40% of their use consumption.
Yeah,
Yes,
but that has been the figure before this before 12 or 13 days ago. We were talking
So
of
if
that
they
40.
stop it now, that will definitely hurt Russian economy, but it will hurt the European economy as well.
It's already hurting the Russian economy because their ruble is that their currency.
Yes, ruble. Yeah.
Yeah, has been devalued to almost 60% now.
Wow. It was 30% a week ago.
Yeah, their interest rate have gone up to almost 40, 50. Their banks, most of the banks have collapsed. They are not, their central bank is not there. And people cannot get money from the cash point
Have they opened their
centers.
stock exchange now?
No, the stock exchange can't work without any economy.
And somebody told me that Putin should go and learn history. That the Soviet Union got decimated because of the poor economy, not because anybody brought war. There were no protests, but Gorbachev did not have any answer, and all of these. Boris, all of these things just collapsed based on poor economy, and that this is going to wreck Russia for years to come. But he's more interested in pummeling and pulverizing Ukraine, isn't it?
And that's a fact, Dr. Shagun, because as at Monday, you're talking of close to 200 and something companies cutting off. Some are rolling, some are suspending, some are slowly backing out. And yesterday, McDonald's is closing.
Wow.
Coca-Cola, and some of these beverage companies are going out because they can't be in that situation. Apart from the economy side of it, it's also risky. You know, their employees, their workers are not safe because nobody knows what will happen inside of Russia. So
And there are individuals benefiting from selling Coca-Cola, selling all these
yes,
things.
yes.
Somebody is a restaurant.
Yes, McDonald's makes a lot of money. Individuals also tap in from the McDonald's franchise.
They get salaries, don't they? All the Russians working for McDonald's, working for Coca-Cola, they get salary. So all of them are sacked already.
That's it. But the other ripple effect is it's going to affect Europe as a whole. Yesterday also in an economic meeting with Europeans, Europeans are also going to suffer for this. That's why they really need Putin to stop this, because we're talking of gas, but also a lot of things come from Putin, from Russia to Europe. Wheat, Ambassador Nat talked of bread. Yes, bread will become a scarce commodity in the whole of Europe because wheat comes from Russia. And
which way can they use to stop? Which way can they use to stop Russia now?
Well, France. Only that Putin sees him as a young boy, but France has been making incessant calls, begging the man, but Putin sees Macron as a little lad, so he doesn't see him as somebody to negotiate with. But France,
I think the strategy of the West is to choke Putin's Russia to the point to say that will make him relax. If they grab him by the neck and choke him, then he will be able to relax his hands and stop bombing. But as far as they are still choking him, he's still having some oxygen.
Yes, he's still having some oxygen because he has, Putin is looking at the immediate progress and what he has done in this past 5 years. And so he's not seeing the long term, and he's not also seeing people's interest. How far
is it true? Yeah. How far is it true, Ambassador Nat, that the Russian soldiers do not have high morale to fight this war?
Yeah, because as of yesterday, reliably, two of their generals, Russian generals, were killed in Ukraine, because they, as we have said, the war machines they are using are obsolete.
Yeah,
and there are this 16-kilometer queue of Russian tanks that are not able to move because of lack of spare parts. The soldiers don't have enough food to eat. Some of them are deserting the military. Some of them have yielded to the propaganda of Ukraine, and they are demoralized. And the number of soldiers that have been killed on the Russian side.
I have a final question on this one. How long do you think this war will rage on? You think it's going to end up in a week, 2 weeks, or 2 years?
No, I think maximum the next two weeks.
2 weeks?
Because Putin is already war fatigue. His economy can no longer support the war.
But does he see it that way? Let me ask Mark, you think 2 weeks will be enough to at least bring a ceasefire, whether temporary or postponing it? You think so?
I'm saying lesser than that, sir. I'm saying lesser than that, Dr. Shagun. I think in the next next week, we might see a ceasefire and a stop in this next week. I envisage next week.
Are you sure Zelensky will not give up at a point and say, look, this thing is not working? Or do you think he's in a better position to hold on to whatever?
Last night, he gave a speech with so much decorum and so much power. And he looks like he has rejuvenated in his strength and his vision for his people. So Zelensky looks real pumped up. He looks real ready to go. We don't know where that power is coming from. Maybe he has gotten some new supply of arms or something.
Definitely getting supply from the West. I'm telling you,
Yes,
what is
yes,
here
he
is
did.
different from what is happening. We will not
Yes,
supply
yes,
aeroplane. America says you don't know
yeah,
what they're supplying. We will not
yeah.
help him. You don't know what they are
Because
helping.
America has good war technology. Let's be honest. They have
Okay.
real. Yes, they have
Well,
it.
for our viewers, we want to say we'll leave at that and we'll go on to our next topic. We'll be monitoring these pundits have said in a week or two there should be a major ceasefire. I'm looking forward to that. I don't want anybody to die. I just hate bloodshedding. That's me. But then we'll look at what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks or 2 months. Who knows? Afghanistan waited how many years? And the bandits are back in Afghanistan. The Taliban are back. So, so you never can predict what can happen, even with the superpowers fighting a small power. So we'll see. I will want it to end in 1 week or 2 weeks, or even today. But Putin should not be put in doubt. This may be for a long time if he doesn't give up. Now, Ambassador Nat, constitutional alteration in Nigeria still going on, and the women are not having it because the clause or the item that says that women should be given that 5% in all state assemblies, federal assemblies, they are not happening, and the women are planning to boycott. At least they said so yesterday. What is tell us the recent position?
Well, the recent position is that yesterday the Nigerian House of Representatives uh, have said they are going to reconsider the three main bills that were not passed and that have to do with the women. The Speaker of the House of Representatives said the the House have slept over the challenges the women are putting in their front, and even with the possibility of some of them not being able to go back to the House in 2023, and they need the women's votes. And so they have said they are going to reconsider three of the main bills that consider the women, the women. And so that is the position we have today. And the Speaker of the House said he was going to uh, impress it upon the President of the Senate to also toe the line of what the House of Reps is considering to do. In fact, they gave the assurance they will reverse, especially the three main ones. The representation of women, 35% in the executive, seats being reserved, almost how many, 300 or so seats in the National Assembly, both the House of Reps and the Senate. And then the issue of nationality. If
But while I'm listening to you, how democratic is this thing, though? I mean, say in my constituency, there is a young man ready to work and serve his constituency, and a woman who also is ready to serve the constituency. What if both of them contested and the young man won? What will happen?
You see, the thing is our definition of democracy and the understanding of democracy by our female gender. That
Mm,
democracy is not doesn't discriminate, doesn't departmentalize the people
the
into.
gender. Mm,
Yes, that's the thing. And the women also forget that the cultural background we are coming from,
mm,
our cultural values, the premium placed on women is very, very low. And what they want to do what the women did in Beijing declaration some years ago.
mm,
And so it's going to be very, very hard in the African setting
It's only in Rwanda. It's only in Rwanda that we have many women in the house, and it's because many of their men have died in that genocide that killed millions and millions. I mean, we have to recognize that it happened in this country too. Women were very, very put in the back burner. But when many of the men died in the Second World War, then the women rose up. Women hockey started. Women football started, and things like that. Before, there were no women football and all those things. But then it is the war that has taken away the men that made the women come forward. Nobody is saying anybody is inferior. Far from it.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
can I say something?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Interestingly, in Nigeria, most political party, APC, PDP, ADC, Labour, all have the 30% women involvement as their prerequisite, as their yes. So on the political party level, yes, the women are recognized, 35% even. So it is now, we are now trying to bring it to the national level where the laws are made and where decisions are really, really enforced. So that's the problem now. So if on a national level, federal government can recognize this 35% for women, it will go along because the parties are already having that structure. So and it's working very well for the parties because a lot of women in these political parties really have they have their say, you know. They can and you find out that it is the women in those political parties that are bringing in the votes. Because they can gather people. ADC, for example, have most of our officers as women, and that has helped the party increase its number. So there's something about women and populists. And if the federal government on the national level, the senatorial level, House of Rep can understand this and really work with that plan that the women are asking for, it will go a long way for our country.
We are told that there are 106 million women, voting women, or who have voting rights, 106 million. The point is, number one, are women ready to vote for women? Number two, do women have enough money to contest election in the Nigerian scenario? Because in the Nigerian scenario, you need a lot of money to contest even local government election. Do they have such money? Number three, to what extent will they alleviate the suffering of the people when they get there? Because if they have sponsors, whoever sponsors you, we want his money back. We want you to give him the accolade. Are they ready to face their sponsors? Are they ready to bring Nigeria to the good light that we are praying? Who wants to go for this question?
Let me attempt to. You see, let me start from the contribution of Honorable Mazi Mark. You see, the PDP, APC, or other parties, they have some of these affirmative provisions on their books. But when it comes to practice on ground, the women, they cannot even stand the strategies they may use. Yes. A woman cannot easily become a nocturnal animal when you have a family, when you have a husband, you have a family. But the men their meeting start by 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
That's correct. That's very correct.
And so this is a very serious challenge. But the issue is that the women, honestly, even if not politics, in civil or public space, the women don't like each other.
Yes, voting for one another may be difficult.
Even before the voting, they don't like competition among their agenda, and so it becomes very problematic.
Let's look at a practical scenario. A woman is presented for a particular constituency by APC, for example, and a man from PDP, and a man from ADC. Now, if the women are not going to vote for that woman, they're likely to bring in one of the two men from the other parties, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mainly
But
because of the cultural understanding. Let her go back home and go and cook food for her husband. Then the cultural ambassador, now how do we break that cultural something? Let her go back to her husband. And,
it has to be by education, not by politics. It has to be by education. Because
okay.
that I think that is the only thing that can be done at the moment. The women also they are supposed to have equal rights. They are human beings. They have a lot to offer. They have offered a lot in the past. Historically, we remember the Aba women riot of 1929 or thereabout.
Yes, I remember that one.
They were part of the struggle for political independence, but
Yeah,
we
that's
got the
correct.
independence, and they are not going anywhere. No, they cannot. We cannot appreciate them and allow them space to be able to continue contributing to the growth and development of
Yeah,
democracy
but
in Nigeria.
before we leave this topic, you recall that Patricia Ite was the Speaker of the House who was unceremoniously removed for a cause that she did not commit. And many of the Northern House of Representative members said they found it difficult bowing down to a woman because she was sitting there, and it is the norm of the House. When you are leaving the chamber, you must bow before the Speaker or before the maze. It happens that the Speaker is sitting on top of the maze, if you like. So how do we inform people like that you are not bowing before the woman, you are bowing before the authority of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
It's a long way to go, Dr. Shagu,
Mm,
because the mentality of the African man, the average African man, not even Nigeria or any part of the country, but the
mm,
mentality is the man is supreme.
mm.
The egoistic, chauvinist mentality is there. Men are supreme. Men, you don't. A woman doesn't talk when the men talk. I mean, some of us grew up in that environment. So it will take a lot, like the Ambassador Nat said. It's more than it will take a lot of educating the people, educating people to understand that this is a new world where everybody has a say, everybody is relevant, and that process of education will take a long time.
And
It
then
will.
my final question to any of you: will the husband support their wives for these nocturnal meetings, for these endless meetings, for these days on end she may not come home? Let us imagine a presidential candidate being a woman. You will have to tour the 36 states. Some men may be making advances to such women. And if somebody should go and inform, either rightly or wrongly, that they are making advances to somebody's wife, will the husband not recall his wife and say, "Look, don't destroy our family? You appear to be falling for one particular politician or the other." Well, I mean, in the opposition, anything can happen in politics. They say, Mr. Man, do you know that your wife is being seduced by Mr. So and so, and then everything will break down, or you don't foresee such problems?
It's already
Yes.
Ambassador.
it's already happening. I have a fair knowledge of the scenarios we have created. You see,
Mm,
if you look at individual families, what's the level of bonding at home? Uh,
yeah.
what's the husband's orientation?
Mm,
What is his outlook?
mm.
And then the wife herself, what was her what was her what's the most appropriate word I want to use now? What is her disposition in the family? What how does she look at the
Yes.
husband?
I remember the different rumors we had, especially about the woman in the petroleum. You remember? that
Yes.
she's having an affair with President Jonathan and things. It's a rumor. Nobody confirmed it. But then you don't want that rumor for your wife as a husband, that kind of thing. And so it's a very serious one. Yes, let us give them that 35%. Yes, let us encourage women. But like Ambassador Nas said, education, 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 education to the politicians first. Then education to the women. You got to stand your ground and you got to shout out if anybody makes an advance to you middle of the night where you are having the meeting, because they may make that advance so that you run away, not necessarily because they want to sleep with you, but just for you or something to make you run away. So there are so many things that we have facing in the months and weeks to come. Let's leave that issue and move on. Ambassador Nat, please answer my question in a very straightforward manner. How many chairmen do we have in the APC right now, National APC?
National APC.
Yes.
I think we have 26.
So how many No. How many chairmen are there?
That's state. Is it state chairman or national? You say national.
National. Yes.
Well, from the information we are picking, we have one chairman,
And his name is?
and his name is Lolo.
Lolo Bello.
Yes, the governor of Niger State.
But that is from one angle. We understand that Buni has not handed over. He's in Saudi Arabia doing Hajj.
He's sick. He went for medical tourism. He's coming back today.
He's coming back today.
Yeah, today as governor of Yobe State. But the actions Sani Bello have taken clearly shows that he's in charge of the APC, and the 10 or 11 other members of the committee rushed into Abuja on Monday to give him support. He has sworn in chairman of state APCs. He has received the report of the APC zoning committee, and APC, they are ready for the convention. They have reduced the number of people who will attend the convention, and they are moving on.
Is that where they will bring? Is that where they will bring the presidential candidate?
At the convention, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's leave APC. How about PDP? Are they ready?
PDP is now basking on what is going on in Ebonyi State.
Tell us more. Tell us more, because Ebonyi State has no governor now, or do they have a governor?
By the courts, Ebonyi State has no governor, and the PDP have submitted the names of a governor and deputy governor to be sworn in any time from now, if INEC gives them certificate of return, because the court judgment said Mehi and his deputy and 16 members of the House of Assembly in Ebonyi State have lost their
seats.
Their seats.
Mark in Milan, this is a new development. Do you think it's that easy, or you think Umahi and Co will go to the appellate court and then from there even to the Supreme Court, or what do you think?
It's really a very interesting thing happening there. But
it's a very, very, very laughable.
Yes. Before now, myself and Ambassador, we were discussing, and I was also putting some questions to him as a very good analyzer. So the thing is, the party is taking the vote of as theirs.
Yes.
The vote is their own. So if you have become a governor, we made you. Now, if you've if you have gone out of us, then we take back our vote. That's just.
I think it makes sense, because it's on the basis of the party's manifesto that you have become a governor. That makes sense, isn't it?
But not like I was saying, he said otherwise, and I saw some things with what he said. The individual also is the one that has garnered these votes through the party, because people also vote the person they see. They've seen
But
him.
In our constitution, individual does not exist. Only the party. You cannot. There is no individual. You cannot do without a party.
Somebody saying, very interesting thing indeed. Ebonyi people are confused. Very confused. This is
A state without governor.
The other issue that is on now. We had they call it Amechi rule. Amechi was made the governor of Rivers State because
in the first term.
Yeah, in the first term, but the judiciary called it judicial rascality, and they said there were some court orders they had given, but the PDP in Rivers State did not adhere to the rule of law, and so even though Amechi did not participate in the election, it was Omeha, but Amechi got the nod during the primaries, and but at the end of the day, it was a different thing. But now Amechi's rule has been discarded. The lawyers have equally divided, even senior advocates. They are saying, let us allow this new twist in Ebonyi to run its course, even if it is going to the Supreme Court, so that because once a Supreme Court decides a case, it becomes a law. Let us run the whole hog and see what the Supreme Court is going to say.
I think from the people I've discussed with, both Igbos, influential people, elites, they said they want this case to be the precedent so that it will stop all this political rascality of jumping from party to party for whatever reason, and especially personal reason, fraudulent reason, that is going to stop it. If Umar is going to be the scapegoat, so be it. You remember the governor of Zamfara, who by dint of luck, PDP man, he did not garner the most votes, but he was there because of the political rascality of the APC party there in Zamfara. Now, this same man went to cross over to APC for his own personal reason. Such people should say, okay, fine, you want to go to APC, you can go, but let the PDP continue to rule. And so such people should just be brought back to book so that it can stop all this nonsense.
Yeah, that's a very good one, Dr. Shagun. Looking at it from that angle, our politicians are very confused. Jumping from party to party, just you see that they don't know what they have, and that's because a lot of these parties also don't have manifestos and
ideology. They don't have all those
that will keep the structure on. So people just come in and hop out, jump out.
The same thing Ben Ayade did in Cross River. Twice
exactly.
The PDP brought you in. Now you are leaving them. I mean, if you want to leave, you can leave, but leave the post for the party so that you...
And everything is still on their personal interest. Nobody's looking at...
Yeah, obviously, it's because of their personal interest. Well, we'll just leave that, and we'll bring the latest.
Helping my party, helping the country. It is. I'm going to come in. Yes. So let's see if this could work it out in that sense. If what is happening in Ebonyi,
there are two more topics I want us to bring before we go, and that will be Igboho. Igboho has been released on a partial basis. What's the implication for Nigerian security? What's the implication for the security of Igboho himself? Somebody said this man could be kidnapped like Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped like this man, This man was kidnapped in London many years ago. That Buhari is good at kidnapping, and that's why the spirit of kidnapping is all over the country right now. I mean, they created Umaru Diko, so they went to Kenya and picked up this man. So Buhari has got these flair for kidnapping people with impunity. Yeah, people are saying that his life, Igboho, is now in more danger when he's not in detention. What do you say, gentlemen? Nat.
Well, Igboho, on his way to Germany, was stopped in Benin Republic, and we thought the next day he will be set free. But it's almost eight or 9 months now since Igboho has been in custody. The federal government of Nigeria tried all tactics, all strategies to bundle him in, even if it's by road from Benin Republic. Once he crosses the Nigerian border, either it's in Duroko or semi-border, once they can get him to cross with him to the border, Nigeria takes him over and fly him to Abuja. But that did not happen. And I think what is really on his side is that the rule of law in Benin Republic is not the type we have in Nigeria. The Benin Republic laws of the land, the judiciary made sure they played along with their laws of the land. And his partial release, or rather, partial release and regimented type of movement, limited or curtailed, it's not going to be in his personal interest security-wise. Because Benin Republic, especially the southern part of Benin Republic, is more of the 37th or 38th state of Nigeria. That place is flooded by Nigeria, and especially a particular ethnic group. And when it comes to politics, we have seen politics divide ethnic groups or even divide religious groupings. And so I don't know whoever are his handlers in Benin Republic, they have to be very sure of his personal security just to start off, and not even rely on what the Benin Republic government can provide for him.
I think by releasing him from go on.
Yes, let's look at it from another twist. Let's look at it that Tinubu's many consultation with Yoruba heads probably brought this release. So in that sense, Tinubu could be using this as a chess game, and because he needs the vote, he needs the support of the Southwest, and majority of the Southwest believe in Igboho and are aligned with him. So let's look at it that it is some of this is consultation with some of these leaders, the Obas and Obas of the Southwest, and this it has brought out this. Now, if it is so, where I'm guessing, we're not saying that's how it is, but if it is in that sense, he's secure, even if he's in any part of Nigeria, because it is now Igboho becomes more like a chess game, like I said, and any touch on him in this sense now could escalate a division in APC. So I'm looking at it like,
well, the Nigeria I know, if they kill you, nothing will happen. So don't let us kid ourselves. In fact, his death will aid Tinubu's campaign, because it will not distract Yoruba nation from the Nigerian presidency.
So don't you see it that it's a Tinubu effort for the Obas requesting that he be?
That's not it. No. A Yoruba nation will not make Tinubu the next president. The Yoruba people fronting for Yoruba nation, they are not interested in 2023 election. So Tinubu will have known that one, that these people, they have, I mean, across social media, they have been insulting Tinubu left, right, and center, that he should just drop the nation Nigeria. That's the situation. So they don't even like Tinubu for contesting the election of Nigeria. They're looking for somebody who will front for the nation of the Yorubas. So it is not in the interest of Tinubu that Igboho should be released, because he's a rallying round for the Yoruba nation, and therefore his death, he will be so happy, because that may put a comma or a stop and put some stop on. So I mean, the analysis is a bit complicated or
Okay.
straightforward, depending on the way you look at it. But I can
Yeah.
assure you that Igboho is a challenge to Tinubu's presidential ambition. If he's dead, he will be so happy, because that will be one of the pillars of the way. I just want to quickly, what do you think, Mark?
Yes, sir.
If Igboho should now be finally released, and Kanu is still in custody, how do you think the average Igbo man will feel about equality, egalitarianism in Nigeria?
It's already been said, because how the Igbo, that's why I came up with this theory of
Mm,
probably the Yoruba leaders facilitated this. It's
mm,
already on the discussion up line in the Igbo land, eastern, southeast Nigeria, that the elders of Yorubas have done this, and the elders of Igbos can't do anything for Kanu. So agitations have increased again. That
mm,
if Igboho can be out, then why can't they help to bring Kanu out? So yes, agitations are increasing again. People are not happy. The Southeast are still hell bent on bringing their man out and dropping all charges. Not just bring him
mm.
out, drop all charges, so that he works as a free man.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll just leave that one. The Deputy Inspector General just slumped, died, and is the one looking after the Abba Kyari case. Ambassador Nan, do you think is there anything connecting the two, or is just a matter of coincidence?
Well, I was a little bit taken aback yesterday or today when I got that news of Deputy Inspector General of Police slumping and is gone, and he was
Mm,
the one handling Abba Kyari's case. And
mm,
in our society, our social system, we always have one cause or the other for death.
yes, either
And,
the enemy or the devil or
yeah,
Satan.
and the circumstances and the timing of the man's death, I think, was very, very wrong. The man shouldn't have died.
I
Is
think he
it?
overworked himself. He overworked himself.
Well,
Oh, Mark, what do you think?
we don't know what he did, but I come from that part of that country where
Mm,
if somebody dies and he was handling a very sensitive issue, they want to use that issue as a cause of death. And
mm.
we haven't had any comment yet. I mean, when I make comment, either from the mainstream media or important individuals coming out to make categorical statement,
Or the
or
wife shouting, I told him
yeah,
not to take this job. Oh, I told
yes,
him. Oh.
the wife, the family, the relations,
Yes.
and
You
the
remember
like.
the INEC chief in Kano,
Yes, yes,
when APC was losing, and the man suddenly died. His whole house burnt. His only
yes,
house got burnt, and every member of his family died. You remember that case?
yes, yes. And up till
Mm.
today, we don't know the cause of the fire.
We
There's
don't know the cause of the fire.
no official statement on that.
Mm.
Yes.
So we continue to look at that. Maybe the best way to wrap up today is to bring a case of that is mind-boggling and a sad one for that matter. A young lady entered the BRT bus in Lagos and never made it home. What's your take?
Maybe
Now,
Mark, you want to?
Oh, Mark, you
yes,
recall
yes.
that young lady? Yes.
Very sad indeed. It's sad indeed. The young lady took a bus. The BRT is supposed to be the secure bus the Lagos State government has provided to people to travel around with. And she took the bus. The story changed. While in
She
the
was
bus,
apprehensive, wasn't she?
yes. Sorry. The what we had is the driver molested her, raped her, and probably did some very funny thing to her body
Was she
part.
the only one in the bus for the driver to molest her?
Yes, as at that time, she was the only one in the bus. And what the BRT bus like we had is being the entries, the door is controlled by the driver. So he locked up everywhere and did what he did with her. Now we are still following the case. It's a sad one.
But they said they found her body and some parts were missing.
Yes, some parts were missing. Can you imagine that? That's
And then they interviewed the driver and he was telling us some cock and bull story.
Yeah, everything he said is a lie. It's not.
And that he was under a spell. He didn't know what he was doing.
Yes, it's a lie because first of all, he ran away from the crime scene, and they got him, and now he's saying all kind of funny story. So gruesome situation indeed, and but we need to get to the bottom of it.
But is this not the generation that they have caused in Nigeria? This generation of kidnapping, taking parts of the body. I mean, it's a brutal generation.
Yes, let's say this. Like Ambassador Nat was saying earlier, we come from Nigeria. Africa is diabolic, and when it comes to the political, the election season, the diabolism increases because this is Africa for you. For our listeners that are Europeans and probably don't understand, that's how it is, you know. So
I think I'm challenging 90% of the politicians and 90% of businessmen who have not used body parts to look for money or for positions. I'm challenging them. Let them come out one after the other that have never gone diabolical before I got to this political stage. Let them come out.
Yes, during election season, the idea is when you keep somebody blood and all that, you could it passes your power and makes you what you want to be. So
what has happened is that it has penetrated and permeated the society to the grassroots level, that the grassroots level want to be using body spare parts now. How about the MBA students at Ile-Ife? We still have not got to the. I mean, those are just the stories that made it to the pages of newspaper. There are so many that have been killed and still been killing, abducted, and Zamfara bandits and all of that.
Good. You know what you said is very good, Dr. Shagun. Sorry, we're taking a little bit of the time. We are hearing things now because there's social media. There are faster means of disseminating news. But a lot of these were going on back in the days, and nobody had anything. And people were dying, ritual was going on, evil people was being poured out, bad omen and wickedness was in the land.
The top politicians and top businessmen were involved in these diabolical things. I mean, using spare parts of human beings. Now it is because it has permeated the society now. Anybody, everybody, teenagers, they are all getting involved.
In fact, Dr. Shagun, I think we should make a special airing on this diabolism and politics. I think it's worth saying because it needs to stop. It needs to stop.
Have you forgotten the case? I'm sure Ambassador Nat will remember this one. During Gbenga Daniel's governorship, when one state assemblyman carried a calabash naked and he was swearing before the governor, and then the man now went to another party and they just published his pictures and destroyed him. Another case in Osun State from Elisha, where he was asked to go and sleep with a mad woman in the open, and he went and he was caught. Honorable, what are you doing here? That's what they asked him to do. And all over the place. It's so much more. Wash their hands.
Yes, it's so much more. I have countless. We don't want to bring that out. Graphic videos of prominent people. I have it. I can boldly say this out loud, you know. Graphic videos of people doing imaginable gory things, all in the
Yes,
name of power.
all on the name of political posts.
Yes.
Well, that
yes.
is how we live it today. That's the society they want to create for themselves. But let me give my colleagues 20 seconds of fame. Ambassador, now, what would you like to say in your 20 seconds?
Well, I'm deeply worried and concerned with the Russia-Ukraine crisis. I think all parties concerned should, as soon as possible, negotiate and stop this senseless war.
Mm. We have a Diva Hebrew saying that it all boils down to level of education and exposure. I wonder how many human parts were used before Biden was the US election. You are correct, madam. And we hope people
Very
like you
correct.
will even make it to the presidency of Nigeria one day. Yes, Mark, what's your 20 seconds of fame?
Yes, my 22nd is to let people know that we need to be educated. The word today is education, so let's just buttress on that. A lot of things, mentality we have in Africa should begin to change. Mentality of putting women by the corner, mentality of people doing ritual before getting power.
Mm. Well, that is how we end it today. I want to support my colleagues, Ambassador Nat, Macmillan, and Diva Obuks, saying that it's about education, explanation, information, communication, and we can have a Nigerian woman president. And why not? If not for Diva Obuks, Hebrew. We'll see you next week and bring you the best all the time, the global issues from News Echoes. We want to thank the crew at Italy and thank my colleagues Nat and Mark. My name is Shegun Johnson. See you next week.